What about depression? By the way, I've seen many people conquer their panic attacks by the things that I just described. Isn't that good news? Depression is not a cause, depression is an effect. The medical definition of depression is a chemical imbalance in the brain. What's my next question? Why? What has caused this imbalance? Let's have a look at what causes the highs. Sugar causes a high, wheat causes a high, caffeine causes a high, alcohol causes a high, tobacco causes a high, MSG causes a high. All of these highs come with corresponding lows. They're transitory highs.
Barbara O'Neill emphasizes the importance of understanding brain functions for mental health. The brain's frontal lobe, crucial for reason and judgment, fully develops by age 30. Mental health issues like depression often arise from not utilizing this part of the brain. Barbara introduces 7 laws of the mind to improve mental health, preventing conditions like anxiety and depression.
We defined what the frontal lobe was, where our reason, intellect, judgment and will are, that they're fully developed at the age of 30. Now we're going to have a look at the mental or emotional aspects of the way the brain functions. To do that, we're going to go over the 7 laws that govern the functioning of the brain. And the first law must always be Newton's third law of motion. To every action, there is an equal and an opposite reaction.
Barbara shares a story of a woman experiencing a panic attack and highlights the connection to hormonal imbalances, particularly low progesterone.
One is panic attacks. What is a panic attack? A lady told me this. She said she woke up in the middle of the night one night, she's about 53, and she was in total panic. Her heart was racing, her skin was on edge, felt like electricity. She was terrified. She woke up her husband and said, "Quickly, you must take me to hospital, something terrible is happening to me." He drove very fast.
She underscores the importance of understanding these imbalances to manage and prevent depression and anxiety.
Happiness is a choice. We have no right not to be happy. And when I drove past the rubbish tip in Nakuru, Kenya, we drove slowly past the rubbish tip entrance and we looked in and saw little children running out with the happiest smiles you've ever seen. Where do they live? In the tip. What do they eat? Rubbish. And they're happy. Happy's not dependent on things. Happiness, like love, like forgiveness, is a principle. But there is a temptation in the human brain to refer to feelings. Feelings are not a good guide. Feelings need to be under the control of frontal lobe. We forgive and we love and we are happy because reason, intellect and judgment tells us this is the best thing to do at this point in time.
Proper knowledge and treatment can alleviate mental health challenges. The frontal lobe, responsible for reason and judgment, helps manage emotions during crises. Barbara explains its role in preventing mental health issues like depression. Techniques like deep breathing and positive thinking can activate the frontal lobe, aiding in emotion regulation. Barbara stresses the impact of lifestyle choices on mental health. A plant-based diet, regular exercise, proper hydration, and good sleep hygiene can prevent depression and anxiety.
Well, what's a terrible shrinking scenario? If you don't use your brain cells, you will lose them. When these brain cells go into stagnation from lack of use, they die. And once they die, they're gone. But what can also cause a shrinkage is these thorns, which are causing damage. Well, what's your good shrinking scenario? When we forgive everyone, anyone who's ever hurt us in our life, we turn painful past to dust. And when you turn painful past to dust, there's no bad smell to draw you down to that memory anymore. And so the pathway to that memory actually shrinks because of lack of thoroughfare down that pathway. Isn't that good news? I've seen so many people who've struggled with abuse in past. They have made a decision to forgive and they stop relating the story. You see, there's no bad smell anymore. It's just a little pile of dust.
Adopting these habits can significantly improve overall well-being. Forgiveness, governed by the frontal lobe, is essential for emotional healing. Barbara explains that letting go of negative emotions can reduce anxiety and depression. Practicing forgiveness regularly leads to improved mental health and reduced stress. Barbara outlines 7 laws governing brain health, including the law of diversion, which helps shift focus from negative emotions. Applying these laws through diet, exercise, and emotional practices like forgiveness can manage and improve mental health.
Forgiveness is the choice that can free us from painful past. One writer wrote it like this: forgiveness sets the prisoner free. The prisoner is me. It's the best selfish decision you can make. Forgiveness does cut the chains that bind you to painful past. Forgiveness gives you wings, it gives you freedom. One lady said, I don't want to free them. I said, you can't free them. You can only free yourself. I have seen many people who are physically sick because they're bitter about a terrible experience where they were badly treated. And when I say to them, have you forgiven?
Barbara discusses the role of faith in strengthening mental health. Spiritual practices offer hope and resilience, aiding in the management of anxiety and depression. Combining faith with practical strategies can enhance emotional well-being. Barbara concludes by emphasizing the power of knowledge in overcoming mental health challenges. Understanding the root causes of conditions like depression and making informed choices can lead to better mental health. Continuous learning and seeking support are crucial for a happier, healthier life.
These all have a poisoning effect, causing neurodegeneration, which of course is the cause of dementia, Alzheimer's. Something else can poison the brain, and that is negative thoughts. We have no say over what people say to us, but we have total say over what we do with what they say to us. You see, a negative thought may come into our mind, and AA say this, I think it's well said. We have no say over the first thought, but we have total say over every thought after that. You see, a thought is like a breeze. Notice that this nerve cell is like a tree, and here are all the little branches. A breeze comes in and it wafts through the dendrites, the branches of the tree. And it is our choice whether we keep that thought or we let it keep going. And if we keep that thought, it's basically like we build a little nest in the dendrites. And if it's a negative thought, Dr. Carolyn Leaf, in her book, Who Switched Off My Brain, she shows how little thorns can grow in between the dendrites when we entertain or cherish negativity. And those little thorns have the ability to damage the tissues. These are your psychosomatic diseases.